What's up, everybody? Gonna do some drawing today. Hope everyone out there is doing great. We got some exciting things to share. Lots of things happened on Kickstarter, as well as just had a good week at school teaching. So just want to share some of those updates and then do some drawing for you. So first, last week we unlocked a backer bonus on Kickstarter at 6,000, and that gave everyone a print of Riley Scott from her first appearance, or excuse me, of Riley Scott that was done by Skylar Patridge. So then we set a new goal at 7,000 that gave everyone a print of Riley Scott, and all of a sudden, over the weekend into Monday, we had this great big boost. And so we just unlocked yet another backer bonus at 7,000. So that means that we are now working towards a new backer bonus at 8,000 or stretch goal. And that's going to give everyone a sticker. So I'm going to be showing that here in a minute, what that's going to look like. We have about 4 days left on the Kickstarter. So now's a great time to join, because now if you join, even for a low tier, like just to get the basic book, you're still going to end up with all these extra goodies. So it's a great time to jump on board. I'm actually typing up a banner here to put in at the bottom real quick. So Mythica Kickstarter, and multitasking, typing one thing while you're trying to think of another is not easy for me. If you guys are good at that, I'd love to know, but not me. All right, here we go. Just select a stretch goal Mythical Kickstarter. All right, very good. So first, let's take a look at the Kickstarter and how it's doing, and then share where we're at with that and what we're getting in these backer bonuses, which is awesome. You guys have just really knocked it out of the park. It's pretty unbelievable. I really can't say thank you enough to how much support this Kickstarter has had. So I'm really, really grateful. I'm actually on YouTube right now trying to make sure the live stream is working. Seems to be. I think it is. Gotta make sure. Turn the volume off. There we go. Mute that. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. So first, let's take a look at that Mythica Kickstarter. Let me drag that over where you guys can see it. And then I'll share my screen here. Sweetness. I'll go a little bit bigger than that. There we go. How about all the way? There we go. So as you can see, we passed the 7,000 mark with 171 backers. It's going awesome. I can't say thank you enough to everyone. We still have 4 days to go, and we're trying to get to the 8,000 mark, because at the 8,000 mark, everyone is going to get this die-cut sticker of Magnus McDraken. It will be in full color. It's being colored right now, but those will be like 2.5 to 3 inches tall, somewhere around there. I'm really excited to see those. So at 7,000, we unlocked this mini print of Riley Scott. It's going to be like, I believe it's a 5x7 print, but it's the very first appearance of Riley Scott, going all the way back to issue 2. Then above that, at 6,000, we unlocked all of these digital downloads of books from other creators. The first one being Immortal Era, which is currently funding on Kickstarter. So you can definitely go check that out and support them. And these other Kickstarters these other 2 books are made by people who are on Kickstarter as well. So it gives you a taste of what some of these other creators are doing. And we all kind of have partnered together in exchanging freebies to each other to kind of help spread, our fan base, which is a pretty cool approach. So the other thing I want to mention to everybody is that these stretch goals are not being, just frivolously put to waste. The extra funds that are being raised for this campaign are going directly towards getting some very special guest artists to do covers for the next issue. I've been talking to Mike Chrome, who has expressed interest as long as I can, afford his rate, and so that's where that's going to go. I'd really love to see Mike do an illustration of our primary villain, which we've only seen a little bit of, which is the Morrigan, who's all decked out in like black raven feathers, very sexy. And I want to just give him free reign to have fun with it. If you guys haven't seen what Mike Chrome did on the Lady Death, he did a Celtic Lady Death, and I want it so bad, but they're only offering it in holofoil on the current Kickstarter, and they asked like $50 for their holofoils, whereas I only asked for 30 on my Kickstarter. So I am trying to see if they know if that book's going to be available somewhere as just a regular cover or a print, because it is gorgeous, it's beautiful, and I just would love to have a copy of it. So yeah, that's who I want to get to do one of the covers for the upcoming issue of Mythica. And then another artist that I've been talking to is Robert Adkins of G.I. Joe fame, who has pretty much said the same thing. He'd totally be down, but just got to afford his rate. So that's where those extra funds are going. And also to Robert Nugent, who will be doing the interior colors, and to Tim West, who will be doing the lettering. If all those people get paid and we can get the books printed, I might, have a nice dinner as well, maybe. I like to hold on to it and kind of put it back into the book. So I'm really stingy with holding on to it. You can ask my girlfriend. I don't even like to celebrate with it very much. So, because I appreciate every single dollar and I want to put it to the best use possible back into this book for you guys. So if you haven't already, be sure and hit the like button on this video to get the algorithm going. I can't say that word. I think I need some lubricant in my throat. So I got my alcoholic beverage here. Oh yeah, that's strong. I don't know if you guys have ever tried these. These are the pre-frozen drinks at the liquor store that are in package. So like a frozen, Capri Sun kind of thing, but this is supposed to be like a sex on the beach. And it's the first time I actually cracked it open. And it's the flavor is so intense. You guys remember the push-up pops that you go buy and then put them in the freezer? And they sometimes the flavoring of it was like kind of so intense that it hurt the back of your throat. Like maybe those chemicals from the plastic had mixed with it or something. That's kind of what this is reminding me of, but only a little bit. The rest of it tastes good. So not too bad. Just a little intense. Hi, Sam. How you doing, buddy? I don't know if you guys can see Sam down here. Say hi, Sam. Say hi. Sam is one half of my cat duo here. Dean is over there on the other counter. And they're always nearby when I'm trying to work, especially when I go live. They start really climbing all over things. Be lucky if Sam doesn't step on the keyboard and start saying all type of gibberish in the chat. So speaking of the chat, if you're stopping by to check things out, say hi real quick so I know you're there. Just pop a message, say hey in the chat, whether you are on YouTube or on Facebook. And also, if you could, share this out to your favorite group that might be interested in drawing or Mythica or Scottish heritage. We're going to be jamming and talking about all kinds of that stuff tonight. Speaking of jams, we now have the ability to have music on here, so I'm going to get some of that going as well. Don't have a lot of choices, but we do have some rock. What's up, buddy? Now, I don't want that to be too loud, so my speakers are down so that I don't get too much feedback. So you guys let me know how loud that music is, and if it needs to come down a little bit, that'd be very, very helpful, because I don't want to have to be yelling over the music. So I don't hear the music that loud. Live viewer comments. Hey, buddy, you are sitting like right in the way there. Is this Facebook live stream going? There it is. Don't want to have the volume on that either. No feedback. No feedback. All right. I don't know if you guys can see, Sam is still right here in the way, trying to dive into my arm. That's his way of getting me to pet him. Every time I get on live stream, that's when he wants to jump in. So if you're watching right now, drop a note in the chat so I see you and can say hi. And I want to talk first about the Mythica Kickstarter. Like I said, it's doing really, really well. I'm so excited. We have 4 days left. I'd really like to hit that $8,000 goal, which will for sure be able to get us to cover the books and get all these guys paid, as well as get some of the guest cover artists that I want to get for the next campaign, which is, I'm looking at Mike Crome, I'm looking at Robert Atkins. And if you guys have suggestions for cover artists, remember that I want to try and put a new cover on the back issues of the previous books every campaign. So that's, right now, that would be 8 different covers that we need artists for, and I want to give all varieties of skill levels opportunities. And so these are going to be super low run when we do them on Kickstarter. Every time I come out with a new issue, previous issues will be reprinted with a new cover, and usually limited to about 100. They're going to be numbered, so you always know what number one you get, and that's going to make them more collector's items, and something that keeps people interested in getting the older issues. So I'm looking forward to that. Right on. All right. So, as I said, if we can get that $8,000 stretch goal, which we're really close to, everyone is going to get a copy of the die cut sticker of Magnus. It will be in full color. This is just the line art. It's currently being colored by Robert. And if you've seen the rest of his stuff, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. But I wanted to give this preview to you guys so you can see it. All right. So I'd love to hear, what is that you like about Mythica in the comment section. Also, if you're just stopping in, just say hey, leave your name so I know who is stopping by. I'd love to hear from you, even if it's just really briefly. Jacob. Jacob says hi. Jacob Patty. All right, right on. Thank you. Catherine Anderson. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. I just got confirmation that I will be having a summer comic book class this coming semester in the summer. Let me share that real fast. So that means that basically in 10 weeks, you're going to be learning about lettering, line art, doing layouts, everything. We're going to have some scripts for you to work from, but then from that point on, you're going to learn all about the comic book process. You're going to make a few pages of the comic. Then we put it all together in an anthology-style book, and I do the cover. And we have this back in everyone's hands by the time that they finish the class. So you walk away with that book in your hand, and that really excites people. So be sure and check that out. And if you know anyone that might be interested in that, anybody in the Colorado Springs area or even nearby, be sure and share the post. It's over on my Matt Campbell personal page. and my Matt Campbell art page, and I'll probably be posting it on my Action Line page very soon. So be sure and share that. Tim Glasser stops by, said hello. Raphael, hello. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Raphael says, keep up the great work. Can't wait for my copy. Yeah, thank you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing some more of your books. You still working on the same book, or you started a new one now? I'm excited. I'm excited about picking up the pace with these books, getting these other guys on board. That's where a lot of these funds are going towards. I'm also starting to look at some other publishers. In the last week and a half, I've started to have a conversation with someone who is with Antarctic Press, as well as someone who's tied in with, I just spaced the name of the other one, Red 5 Comics. So I'm starting down the process of talking to these people and seeing what their arrangement is on, rights and sales percentages, and start to find a publisher that's a good fit for Mythica, so that I can just focus on making books faster. I've been trying to do both for several years now. That's the way that you start, but now I just want to work on pages and art. Raphael says he's working on a new one, working on the pages now. That's awesome, man. Is it also based on Native American characters? Because that would be awesome. That's why I started Mythica. I didn't see enough characters in comics that had a kilt and were Scottish, so that's why I started Mythica. I think that making something that you're attached to like that is part of what makes it a passion project. March 22 crowdfunding. So just so you guys know, another thing that really helped with this campaign a lot is joining groups when I was trying to promote. So Raphael, if you're going to make it through Kickstarter, this goes out to you or anyone else that's listening that might run Kickstarters. When you post on Facebook, especially if it's a link to Kickstarter or a link to YouTube or a link to anything that goes outside of Facebook, Facebook starts to shut it down and not share it and doesn't want people to leave, Facebook. So what I've found is that if you get into groups, then that doesn't seem to be affected as much. More people see the links and you can share it out. And one of the groups that I joined was specifically for people that were currently or soon to be launching Kickstarter campaigns. And we were all kind of sharing tips and trying to promote each other's updates. And at one point, as I mentioned with one of these stretch goals, we even exchanged freebies. Like here, everyone exchanged like a PDF of our first issue so that we would have these extra stretch goals and introduce other people. And so that group was the comic book crossover, I believe it's called. Let me look it up to make sure I don't want to screw that up. Let's see. And is that music too loud, or is it higher than me? Am I having to compete with it? That's all I really want to know. Okay, so the group is called Comic Book Cross Promotion 2022, and it's been very effective. And it was started by Caleb. I'm trying to remember Caleb's last name. He's on a live stream right now in another thing. But Caleb Thusset, I don't know how you say his last name. Thusat. Thusset? I don't know. But he started it. He's also got a campaign going right now called Into Neverland, which is built in the universe of Peter Pan, but with his own story. So very cool. You should definitely go check it out. They've got a few days left. And you can go to my Kickstarter if you can't find it and go into the update section, and you'll see I've shared it several times. I've also shared it on my personal page. But he started that group. There's only like 50 members in there right now, but it was a great help. Everyone was kind of helping to promote each other. The other thing that I learned in making these Kickstarters is, there's a ton of independent comic groups on Facebook, and so sharing to those helps a little bit too, because everyone wants to support each other. But something that you want to keep in mind is everyone in those groups are also trying to promote their own thing. So, and they may not be your target audience. They might be broke, or they might be totally a different style of comic. So one of the other things to keep in mind is to make sure and share your work in groups that are outside of specific comics, things that are about comics. So, hey Pops, I'm just giving some tips on where to share your Kickstarter campaigns that helped my Kickstarter anyway. So, yes, I will mention that right now. So I appreciate you mentioning that. So I'm talking with Pops Van Zant in the chat right now, and he's also got a Facebook comic group, Comic Related Madness, so you can check that out as well. And he's really great about promoting. He's also got a show called the Madness, and he does a show that I'll be doing on the 27th, which is called CromCon, and it goes on for 2 days straight. One person's spot after another, and everyone's just rotating out. And he's really great about helping the community. So make sure you join his group. But one of the things I was saying, Pops, and to Raphael as well, was that you also want to join and share in groups that aren't necessarily comic-centric. So for me, Mythica is based on a Scottish, hero and World War I, and supernatural elements. So I joined groups that were based in Celtic mythology and Scottish pride and men in kilts and things like that. And when I would share there, I was often the only person in the group who was actually sharing anything about comics. But you don't want to be, just an ad campaign. So I'm trying to interact with them and be part of their group. But that really helps, reach out to people who aren't just comic book fans. And Mike James Benson, pulling it in again with putting the link to Mythica in the chat. He is always on top of that. It's like the first thing he looks for. And I love you for that, man. You're the best. So I need on that another drink of my lubricant, my Tuesday drink here. So yeah, that's two groups I've mentioned. Raphael, I don't know if you're still listening, but the first one was Comic Book Cross Promotion 2022. It's a private group, so you have to ask to join, but it's basically people who are currently in the process or upcoming process of promoting their stuff, and it was started by Caleb. And the other one is the Comic Related Madness, created by Pops Van Zant, and he is another great resource for sharing the work. So hopefully you find that helpful. Yes, Pops agrees. If you got a horror book, promote it in horror groups, not just horror comic groups. He's absolutely on point. So one more time, like I said, on the screen, you'll see we unlocked the 6,000, we unlocked 7,000, which gives everyone this mini print of the first appearance of Randy Scott. And we also are working towards unlocking this next one that gives everyone a die-cut sticker of Magnus. And don't worry, it will be in full color. It's currently being colored by Robert Nugent, who's doing all the interior pages. And it's going to be beautiful because he's been knocking these colored pages out of the park. In fact, here's one of them right here. He does beautiful work, and he's been just working on so many books. He's very popular right now. So yeah, lots of exciting things going on here. And then, like I said earlier, I do have my comic book class that is this summer at Pikes Peak Community College. And so if you're interested in that, just go to ppcc.edu, and I teach it on Tuesday and Thursdays evenings from 5:30 to 8:30. And we make an entire comic from start to finish and get it published and in our hands by the time the class is over. So that's what we're working on. So for 3 minutes, I'm going to step out of trying to promote and step into doing some drawing. Hopefully you guys will keep on the chat and let me know what's going on, because I need a moderator. I need someone who can be here and say, hey, so-and-so wants to know what's going down. What are you up to? And I can't look at the screen all the time. So if anyone wants to jump on board and do that, you're more than welcome. But for now, I'm going to work on this page. I don't know if you guys are interested in the comic book process and would like me to share a little bit about what I go over in my classes, but if you are, let me know in the chat and I'll practice sharing my thoughts. Feel like that music's loud, but if it's not, let me know. I don't want it to be loud. All right. My friend Terming Cheery's having a birthday today. Hopefully she's online right now. There it is. Whoop. Turn that off before it echoes. There we go. All right. I'm going back to this music. Turn it down just a touch. All right. Whoa, I think someone just backed while we were talking. 171? No, that was what it was. All right, so my current process on these pages, I generally just do a really quick rough draft. I'll show you that. And oops, it's more of a thumbnail sketch because I do it really, really small. Let's see where it is. Get these pencils off. Looks like I got an extra pencil layer there somehow. And here you can see this is sort of my thumbnail sketch. It's super loose. And I'm just kind of working out the layout and the sizes, not really caring about details. And then I scale it up to the actual page size. And then I do a pencil layer. Now, there's sometimes where I'll take my rough draft a little bit tighter and then just go straight to ink. A lot of times I do that because with digital, like you can draw in black, and then if you need to erase, you can. So why not jump straight to inks? But right now I'm teaching my students about penciling techniques, and they're actually having to use real paper, and so I'm trying to keep my mindset in that same workflow. But a lot of times I don't actually do a pencil stage and then an ink stage. I just go straight from rough draft straight into inks and kind of just draw with ink. The other thing I like about that, and this is probably going to make some people cringe a little bit, but what's making me cringe is I'm drawing the wrong damn layer. That's what's making me cringe. That's the downside of it. But I don't really like go for being super tight, super pristine line art all the time. Like I love Dave Finch's art, and I see a lot of people trying to emulate his style because it's so tight, so beautiful. But he has a way, he's been doing it so long, he has a way to make his work tight, yet still have a looseness and an energy to it at the same time that that's what people miss when they copy his work. They just see all this super detailed hatching, and then they go to town and they start being super tight, and it loses some of the energy, especially when you have an inker go over it again, and you know, your inker's not has anywhere to just express and add and really just be an inker. So for me, when I ink my pieces, my line art, that's what I really enjoy doing, is just drawing as I'm inking and letting it kind of flow naturally. And then when I make a mistake, I try to just work with it rather than, you know, erase it, as I would if I was really inking. So that's my method that I'm working towards right now. I don't know if it's what everyone else does, but it's what I'm doing, and I'm having fun with it. That's what's really important, right? So I forgot to turn my comment section back on. Hey, what's up? Sam says, hey, what's up? He's wanting some attention. Yeah? What do you say, Sam? So if you're stopping by in the chat or in the to watch even for a few minutes, be sure and leave a comment, say hey, because I'd love to hear from you and see who's stopping by. Even if it's just for, you know, a second that you're looking, I'd love to hear from you. Plus, just dropping that comment, as simple as that is, really helps the algorithm say, hey, people are interested in this, come check it out to other people. So leaving that comment really helps a lot. Okay? All right. And also make sure you check the chat, because Mike was so gracious to put the link in the comment section, which is super helpful. I always forget to do that. So be sure and check the comment section for those links. Let's see. I'm trying to find it right now myself. It's not showing me all the comments. Why is it not showing me all the comments? Are you guys fighting? You guys are the most sibling-like cats I've ever seen. They're always either fighting or taking care of each other, cleaning each other. Fighting all the time, just like brothers. So, does anybody have any questions about what's coming up for Mythica or what we're working on? I've got a lot of stuff, you know, going on and planned. Some of it I can talk about, some of it I can't. But I'd love to know what's going through your mind as far as Mythica. What are you looking forward to? What do you want to know how I do? What do you think I suck at? Love to hear your thoughts. And you know what else would be awesome? Like, if anybody is ever interested, I can't read comments and, you know, draw at the same time. So it would be awesome to have a moderator, to have someone stop in and be on the live stream with me and just say, hey, so-and-so wants to know this. And I don't have a lot to offer in the way of financial compensation, but I'm sure I can offer some art or some, you know, some pieces of my art, prints, special edition books, something, if you're interested. So I have this system with Magnus's hair that his hair is normally pulled back in a ponytail, and the more intense the fight, the more hair is hanging out of his head. So and pulled out of the ponytail. So you can imagine if he's like in full on like throwdown combat and he's being given a good fight, then his hair is completely out of its ponytail and just wild and free, and that's how I've been approaching coloring or drawing his hair. So that's always fun for me, is just deciding on how much am I letting it flow for this fight. Oops, I grabbed the layers, flew over a little bit. There you go. I'm checking the live stream right now. Oh, there's the link. Awesome. I just couldn't see it. All right, so I'm doing a little drawing today. I also wanted to share a little bit about Mythica. We are currently got 4 days left to go, and we're trying to reach our next stretch goal, which is at yeah. Excited about it. Sam says hi. He always likes to chime in. So I wanted to make some awesome and exciting announcements here. So first of all, last week I mentioned that we were going to, we're really close to trying to break the 6,000 stretch goal, which gives everyone an extra 3 comics in your bundle in digital format. And these comics are made by other Kickstarter creators that are currently on Kickstarter. And Immortal Era right here is actually currently funding a Kickstarter, so you can check that out as well. Then at 7,000, just happened like in the last 2 days, we unlocked this mini print of Riley Scott, which is the very first appearance of Riley Scott, and going all the way back in issue 2. And she still has both of her eyes. She hasn't lost one of them yet. For anyone that's listening now, does anyone know which issue Riley Scott lost her eye? Now, the other thing is right now we're shooting for the next stretch goal, which gives everyone this die-cut sticker of Magnus McDraken. This will be in full color. It's currently being colored by Robert, but right now I just wanted to show you the line art of what it would look like. I think we're going to put some text down at the bottom. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited about that one. Meow. Meow. Yeah, I'm live streaming, buddy. You know that because every time I live stream is when you start talking and wanting to play and all that other good stuff. It's like So if you've just joined the live stream, please be sure and leave a comment or say hi so I can see who has stopped by. It's the only way that I really get to see who stopped by. Be sure to hit the like button as well, because that will help the algorithm and let it know that people are interested and continue to share it. Or you can share it yourself. That works as well. But so something I've introduced to myself for this issue, because I keep trying to challenge myself to make things more difficult. I don't know if any other artists are like that, but I decided to make one of these vampires that Magus is fighting a dwarf. And so I'm constantly dealing with proportion issues. So here's this dwarf right here. I need to actually darken him up. So I had to draw him a couple times because I didn't like the pose he was in. That one looks better. So let me merge that down into the pencil layer. We'll give him a few extra dark lines here. So yeah, I have a dwarf vampire, and I don't know that I've ever seen that. Let me know if you've ever seen that. Has anybody ever seen a dwarf vampire in any story? I'm sure it exists. I don't feel like I could come up with something that was completely new and never been done before. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook's end. Is that right? Are you guys having a problem seeing it? Can we check? No, it's over here. Oh. Well then, Facebook's having a problem, so we're gonna remove it. So does that mean that we are still broadcasting on YouTube? Yes, we are. All right. So YouTube is it. It's where it's at. So if anyone out there is listening and would like to be a moderator on the show, basically someone who can just look at the chat and let me know who's out there and who's asking questions so that I can keep my head down and draw. I can talk while I draw, I just can't look at the screen while I draw. So it makes it difficult to answer questions. Trying to figure out what I want in shadow and what I want blanked out here. This is supposed to be the shadow under his body. So that means I need to make the chain white. Line right there. Good enough. A little bit of lift off the ground there. Makes it feel a little bit more like he's running. Gotta keep things moving. So let's see here. This guy is going to have light from above, so we're going to shade underneath of the chin, underneath of here, underneath of here. Just trying to find those areas that I can shade and see like stuff from a pretty far distance. I'm not trying to get in there and get too detailed because this is a pretty small panel. I think that's my, the biggest challenge that, you can face working digitally is we can zoom in, especially when we make these high resolution files, and get so detailed and then realize that the lines are so small that they can't be seen, in print. It's too tight a detail. I don't know if anyone else feels like there is such a thing, but that's how I feel, is that if you kind of limit yourself to how much you can zoom in, you'll tend to focus more on making good compositions, making things readable from a distance, instead of just making super detail everywhere. Like readability over, absolute detail. So here I'm using the shadows to kind of make that silhouette, read well. Get some more folds going up here. More folds going up over here. Maybe put some cut in his pants. Little bits of detail here and there. So if you're just joining, be sure and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know who's watching. Right now, I'm just working on this page of Mythica, trying to make sure that everything's going to read well, have nice contrast. So I'm going through and thickening up some lines, putting in some shadows. And you know who might be interested in this, who I should share this with? What are we on? 47 minutes in? I just thought of this. My students in my comic book class. Julie messaged my group. Memes. Gotta love them. Whoa. My alcoholic beverage for this evening has got some punch to it. Whoa. Whoa. All right, I'm checking messages here. Stephen Palawa stopped by to say hi. Stephen's awesome. So if you're just joining and stopping by, I want to also share this. This summer, I'm going to be teaching a comic book class, and in that class, give everybody a script, and you're able to actually just learn how to do everything from beginning to end, from thumbnailing to rough drafts, penciling, inking, lettering, coloring, the whole gamut. And then we have these books printed and in your hands by the time the class is over, and everyone goes home with one of these books. And it's a class that everybody really loves, but you can take just that one class. It's going to be at Pikes Peak Community College South Campus this summer, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 to 8:30. And summer enrollment has just begun today, so be sure and check that out. That being said, I am actually going to jump on over to my school site and send some emails out to my comic book class students that I'm live streaming some comic stuff right now, because it's a great opportunity to share with them. So that's another benefit. I also share a lot of this stuff on my Patreon. If you guys are interested, I do have a Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Action Studios. And in that, I also try to give one-on-ones to whoever asks for it, and is looking for some feedback on their comic book pages or their arts or just their indie business in general. I like to help people however I can, especially the people that are supporting me on Patreon. So check that out. But that starts as little as $1 a month. All right, currently sending out an email to my students to let them know that I'm currently live streaming. Come check it out. All right. And also, if you just joined us, be sure and say hi in the chat, or even just a smiley face, a thumbs up, let me know that you stopped by, because I can't see who's watching. I only see that there's a number, and that number moves up and down constantly. So I don't know who's around, who's not. So be sure and stay hi. All right. Get this link from here, share, copy, paste. Very good. All right. I love that I have a comic book class going right now that people can come and check out. So I need to also make a post. For some reason, my live stream wasn't working well, so I'm going to share on Facebook that I'm currently live streaming on YouTube. All right. There we go. Just saved. All right. So, yeah, like I was saying, we have this comic book class this summer. This fall at Pikes Peak, I'm also going to be teaching a class called Creative and Visual Thinking, which is all about conceptual art for film, animation, video games, any of that kind of concept art kind of stuff is what we're going to be focusing on during that class. So exciting stuff. And speaking of exciting stuff, time to get back to Mythica here. Somewhere there's some shadows I drew from the sky. There they are. Merge those down as well. Sometimes they start drawing on a different layer and forget. So I don't want to shade this entire thing in because that's going to come in the inking process. I just want to go around this character enough that I can see where I need to do separations. And like the top of that stick, that kind of thing. Okay, all right, so that means that then over here, what I'll do is this is the edge of the corner, and this is in light, so this is in dark. So I'm going to have this whole area right here kind of be a transitional stage, slowly moving into the light. So I'm going to first start off by, why did my brush suddenly change? What just happened? There we go. That was weird. My computer is suddenly not working right. All right. Ruh-roh, Shaggy. I can't even get it to go in the right place. Well, that's why. You know what it is? If anyone's watching this, every time my Photoshop starts acting up, I look over and it's because Creative Cloud is trying to do something and update. Now it works fine. I didn't even have to stop. There's Creative Cloud. Every time I have a problem, that's usually what it's from. So anyway, what I was saying is I'm going to sketch in a little bit of rock here, just to sort of have a base, just one or two layers. And then I'm going to make this all in shadow over here. This is complete shadow right here. And no, there does seem to be a little bit of lag still. Probably because I'm live streaming. It doesn't like that. think I might need some more RAM on my computer. So stop uploading things. Slowing me down. Stupid Adobe Creative Suite. So right now I'm going to go through and like darken up these valleys, make sure that really have a strong starting point of darkness here, and then start transitioning forward with hatching and cross hatching. So like I said, all this is in shadow, darkness. I'm only focused on these 2 layers of rocks right here. So I'll start by coming this direction with it. Maybe this one as well. And then do some underneath here, just a little bit less. Much more on this one. Down here a little bit. There we go. And that kind of transitions outward. And then these are facing the lights over here. So these are still going to get a lot more hatching. You want to really make sure you sell the fact that one has gone around the corner. There's a bend in the rock. So I'm actually going to go underneath of this rock a little bit. Just because you don't want everything to be a definitive line, right? All right, now I can start going through here and making these rocks. And another thing I found to be a challenge when doing these rock formations is keeping proportions. So I'm looking over here to see the size of some of those rocks and trying to keep it consistent, because that's one thing that'll kill the believability. Is you have tiny rocks over here and then great big ones over here. The proportions suddenly feel off. So it's easy to do, but I kind of kill myself sometimes putting in all these little rock details, but at the same time I also love it, so I don't know. I don't ever know how to proceed. I love details. The details slow me down. All right. So if you're just joining, make sure that you leave a like and leave a comment. Let me know what's going on. I'm just here doing a little drawing on my pages, talking about my comic book process, and talking about my current Kickstarter, what's going on with that. So feel free to ask questions about Mythica, about making comics, anything that you want, because that's what I want to talk about, making comics. And we'll just go ahead and throw this shade down here. I'm being super loose with this. This is like my slash penciling slash rough draft. I'm going to do one more pass over this with ink. So I only do 3 layers. My super loose thumbnail, this sort of rough draft slash pencils, and then my ink layer. That line is on another layer right now, so I'm not too concerned about it. Does anybody make sound effects when they draw? You do that. Wow. All right. That's all going to be in shadow. I'm getting excited to ink this. Lots of fun details in here. lots of shadows. So let's see, I'm going to get my perspective on here. So this is coming this direction, across here, across here. All right, very good. These are some rock formations that are crumbling about because Magnuson, this vampire, just crashed through a wall. So we want to have debris on the ground, but you also want it to be easily readable. So I want to put the debris, you know, in a way that breaks clearly, because his hand is right here, and you don't want to get confused with that. So that's where it gets a little tricky. Readability is the most important thing, and it's really easy to put detail over composition, readability. My family has got a group chat going. It's cracking me up right now. All right, let's check that. I think I went from Castaway Gold. Kickstarter. All right, well, I'm going to sketch for just a few more minutes since I just recently, had some classmates, or I sent this out to some students. So I'm just going to hang out for just a little bit longer doing some sketches here. Working on a Mythica page, trying to get some fun details in here. So now I can see that, like, I need to make sure I have a good separation between this guy's hair and the background. So I'm just going to make an indication that I want to put a line around him. It's the easiest result right now. I could just do it in his hair, but we'll see. And that's all right. It's getting there. Some more rocks. Oops, I'm still on clear mode, normal mode. There we go. A lot of times I'll use my brush on clear instead of switching it to eraser, just because that means all my brush settings are exactly the same. I'm just using clear instead of color. I find that works pretty well for me sometimes. All right. Just putting down some rock details. So this is like a rough draft slash pencils. I'm going to go straight to inks after this. I'm not going to have like a unfinished penciled page. So I'm putting in just enough detail to let me know where I want to go with my inking. So I know that this is going to be filled in and this is going to be filled in. And make sure I can separate darks from lights really well. So that's really all I'm looking for here. Like, I think this would be cool if I like put in a window right here maybe. Let's see, it seems a little high. Let's go here, let's go here. I think the window would start about here. There we go. Now I am using eraser tool. All right. So if you've just joined, be sure and pop onto the chat and say hi. Let me know who's watching. And then be sure and hit like and follow if you want to see more about making comics on my channel here. And let me know like what you really enjoy seeing more. The information about what's going on with Mythica, the drawing, or just some tips. I can kind of put it together in more of a tutorial form if that's more helpful. So this is all going to be in shadow over here. And so the only thing that's not is this little sectional window. And it's going to have some hatching in there just to give it some depth. It might not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters. My happy little window is there, and I know where to put it. Put some more little dashes and details there. Now, coming around the corner here, I might want to have another doorway. So just to, break it up, make it look more visually interesting. So here's some rock, here's some door. Some lines here. Oops. I don't know why this new Cintiq that I have, I tend to push the side buttons a lot more often than I did with my old Cintiq. Thankfully, that Cintiq still works. So if this one ever breaks down, I think I can still keep using that one as long as I can find a driver for it. Right, so I'm just kind of indicating those little rocks. I don't want to go full bore in the detail sense. I'm going to let myself do that while I ink. I like to have some freedom to just ink loosely sometimes and not have every single line spelled out for me. It doesn't feel as organic that way, and I like to just have some freedom to just have fun and be loose. I feel like there should be a shoe here, but I'm also trying to draw it, so I'm kind of tucking it under there. All right, so this guy's closer to the camera. So I talk in my class a lot about this. When you have characters that are closer, their lines should be thicker because just like, anything else, things that are closer to us get bigger, including the lines that are making them up. So when you thicken this line up, it will help separate him from the background and bring him forward, make him look closer to us. So that's what I'm doing right now, just going through and reminding myself to do that in the ink stage. So I'm not being super clean about it. I'm just sort of making an indicator that, hey, make sure this is a thick line when you ink it. Okay? Just indicators. Alright, there we go. That's looking better. Kind of just making lines down there because I don't want to draw the foot. Being lazy, don't want to draw that foot. All right, so that seems like a decent panel. There's room for dialogue right here if I need to. Actually, I know I need to in the script. But the next thing I don't have yet that I'm always, telling my students about is the gutter should have some space to it. Now you can do that with black line, or you can make two separate lines, but if all you have is this thin line as a gutter and you're barely making any separation between one panel and the next, then a lot of times it will create much stronger tangents. People will start to blend images together. So you don't really want to have that. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate that I'm going to have a nice, thick, bold border line right here. And I might even make it kind of scraggly a little bit. But I think I'm going to do that. I think I have an extra layer right here with these. So I'm just going to merge all three of these for now, and then rasterize them. And then use that layer to do my border. That way I can erase out the hand. I don't have to worry about stopping. Just draw straight through until it's the thickness that I want. And I'm being very organic with this instead of like making perfect, you know, 1/8 inch wide, you know, gutters or whatever. I want to have a little bit of organic feel to it. I want some of these lines to taper together and kind of, you know, veer off so that it feels more handmade. I don't like everything to be so super clean that it feels, you know, plainly and obviously digital. I'm trying to, you know, make it not feel digital. So there we go. And now I can come through here and erase this out, and then erase this out. There we go. That works. Like the way that looks. All right, so if you just stopped by, please drop into the chat, say hi, let me know that you're there and who's watching, because I can't see that, but I do love to give appreciation to those people that have stopped by, and I appreciate all of you. And I want to know who's watching, who's interested. Okay, and also, you know, if you're looking at this and you're like, hey, this is boring, this sucks, you're welcome to let me know that too, because I'm always looking to make things better, and I'm not afraid to admit that there's much more that I can improve, always. So if you want to come on here and tell me, hey, this is boring, that's fine, but, you know, at least give me some suggestions on what you would do better, because I'm open to it, man. So right now I'm just thickening up these contour lines because, again, this character is closer to the camera than the other characters. So you want to make sure that their lines are bolder. But also keeping in mind that this is my rough draft / pencil, so I don't want to go too perfectly detailed. Just enough that I know where I want to go with it. Okay. Now here, under here, I've got 2 shades to deal with. I have choices. I can either fill in this entire area in solid black as well as the area underneath the brim so that it's all one solid. Or I can fill in the area underneath of his head or on his face dark and then use like a hatching underneath the hat so that it's not completely black. I have several options to choose from when I go to ink, as long as it looks like it's dark. I'm leaning towards it being primarily in darkness and then kind of fading out into hatching, something, you know, like this, and then back to dark again under here, and then all this is in pure darkness as well, so that all we have left is the eyes kind of poking out a little bit, and then a little bit of hatching around the nose, maybe. Because this is what they call a cast shadow. This is a shadow that's being cast by the hat, so it should have a crisp edge to it. And then this shadow is the underside of the hat, so as it starts to come up to the light, it will start to radiate out, but underneath here it's going to be darker. Okay, so it almost looks like he's wearing a mask. And then if you want, you can kind of separate out a couple things with putting a little bit of an edge right here. I just realized I did it again. I was drawing on that line wire. That's all right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this. I'm going to copy it or cut it out. Control X. Drop it here. Control V. And my time is not wasted. Put this here. Put this up. Anybody do that? Anybody ever have to do that? I've done it several times. Now merge that back down. Problem solved. Back in the right layer. Again, that's why I love digital. You can fix that shit on the fly. Alright, so right now I'm just putting just a little bit of a highlighted edge to separate his hat from his face. Another edge here to separate the hat from the character in the background. And that's about it. Okay, might put some more shadows on him, but the main thing here is I want to make sure that his outline is thicker than this guy with the glasses, so that we create a nice strong sense of depth. All right, that's looking pretty decent. This guy looks scary. This guy, I don't know, he kind of looks scary, but with those glasses on, he kind of also looks like an accountant, so I'm not sure how to take that. It's supposed to be scary or not. What do you think? Does the guy with the glasses look scary? Does the dwarf look scary? Or does the dog look scary? Melinda King says, hi. Hello, Melinda. Working on this comic page again. This is, I've been very busy lately trying to promote Kickstarter. So I'm just in here sketching up my rough draft. Putting in some details. And thickening up lines. Also talking about my Kickstarter because there's only 4 days left and we are about to hit another stretch goal. So we're trying to direct traffic over there as well. So I'm not 100% happy with this dog face, but I also don't know what's wrong with it. I'm not sure, but I don't know if it bothers me enough to kill myself over trying to find the answer, or just move forward and fix it next time. Because I think it mostly sells it. I don't know. What do you guys think of the dog drawing? I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but trying to thicken up these lines here as well, because he's closer to me than even this guy running is. So I want to make sure his lines are nice and thick. Yeah, I'm not really sure what it is about the face that's like not quite right. I think it has to do with perspective, something off about the mouth, but might just have to let it go. Another thing I love doing with line art is texturing. All these different textures, the rock texture, this hair texture. I love artists that really get into their texture work. It's fun stuff. So if you're on the chat and you haven't stopped by to say hi, why not? I don't know who you are if you don't stop in to say hi, and I would love to know who's hanging out, who's stopping by to say hi and see me draw. So be sure and do that down below. You guys gotta see this shot here. This is a gruesome one. So in this comic earlier, Magnus throws this rock so hard that it smashes into this guy's face and flips him backwards. So in this shot, he's like peeling it off of his face.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Did I startle you?
Sorry. Dean's over here on my side sleeping. Made him jump a little bit. So again, just like the previous panels, I'm trying to go around and make sure that the line art contours of the lines in the foreground characters are a little bit thicker than the line art, the characters behind them. So I basically start the first character, do a pass, build him up, make sure it's all there. Then I go to the next character and do a pass through them, and then come back to the front and do it again, based on anything that needs it. So usually it's 1 or 2 passes to make sure that it's a nice strong line. But again, I'm not trying to be super detailed on this one because this is my kind of rough draft pencils. I'm going to go straight to inks after this, and I want to have the freedom to adapt to some of these lines, to just be free with my hand and let it flow, and not just be locked into every single line, which is the standard way of comic book art. When you look at inkers' work, they are being ultra precise to follow the pencilers, and a lot of the pencilers are drawing with ultra tight, ultra precise lines, and it can look really amazing. I'm not gonna say it's not cool, but when I draw, I like to have some of that energy in my line art. And if I can find someone who can ink my work and based off of this and still kind of ink it / draw it in a way that is, a style that fits Mythica, I would gladly give them an opportunity to draw Mythica, because I don't want to be the only person that draws Mythica. I want to eventually hand it off to somebody and let them draw, and I kind of oversee it, so I can kind of start on other journeys and put other things together. Work on other books, other titles, that kind of stuff. So if you think drawing Mythica with Scottish kilts and swords fighting demons would be fun, then let me see your work. Let me see what you can do. Particularly if you are, an inker who's just looking for someone to kind of have a guideline, sort of the rough draft layout that you can just draw over the top of and detail. That would be a nice collaboration as well. I think this guy is supposed to be wearing coat. So one of the other hard things about creating a new character on the fly is keeping your details consistent. Throw in a little bit of an allusion to a coat. Maybe some big old collar buttons. Some buttons right here. There we go. Big old lapel. These are like finely dressed vampire dwarf. Has anyone ever seen a vampire dwarf that runs around with a ball and chain with spikes on it, which has an official name, but I can't remember it right now. That's some craziness. All right, if you guys are just joining, I'm working on a Mythica page. This first page, this vampire is pulling a rock out of his face that was thrown in there by Magnus at high velocity. And the guy behind him is snapping his bones back into place where his hand broke trying to punch Magnus. And then we have our vampire dwarf, because why not? So now that I did a pass from front to back with the outlines, now I'm going to go over the one in the foreground one more time to really thicken that one up, because that creates a stronger sense of foreground, background depth. And if that music's too loud, please let me know. I have it turned down pretty low on my speakers so I don't get feedback. But I don't really know what that sounds like to you. So if it's loud, then let me know. Put some texture here. Some rock texture in here. Splatter on this. Details, details, details. Gotta love the details. It's my favorite part. And you can overdo it for sure. I've done it many times, but this guy's looking at his hand like, what the hell just happened? Because he punched Magnus and his hand broke, and he's a vampire, so he's healing it up right now, but he's still like, that wasn't supposed to happen. What the hell? So back here, this is the wall that Magnus and another vampire like crashed through. So they're going to be running through there pretty soon. This character back here is in shadow in both of these shots, you'll notice. I'm trying to kind of keep him in the shadows, on purpose. So I have a plan for him, and you're going to find out very soon. So for this guy here, I was also trying to emulate what a vampire's face would look like if you knocked out some of the front teeth. So, and his upper lip has been split, and his nose is broken, which is why it's kind of like indented right here. Just trying to aid to the whole concept that his face got fucking smashed. And so here he's like painfully pulling this rock off of his face. And I was trying my best to really depict that. And I think it'll come out even more so when I ink. So I'm excited about getting to the inking stage. All right, so like I said, making sure that these foreground lines are nice and thick so that they can be seen as closer to us. All right, maybe that one needs to go a little bit thicker even, because don't want to get it confused with the lines behind it. All right, put a little bit of texture here. Good. All right, so we got the guy in the front, his face smashed and trying to heal from that. And then we got the guy in the back healing his hand. And the dwarf is saying, come on. And they're like protesting. Yeah, what? My hand just got smashed. And then Magnus's dog, Augie, starts barking. And so this character here we now see popping out of the shadows. He is running in the direction of the dog, whereas everyone else and his little team of vampires is running into the building where Magnus is at. And so he notices, this guy over here with the glasses, he's like, what's that dude doing? All right. So this is adding a little bit of intrigue and mystery as to what the hell is Rutherford up to. Now we're going to come down here. You can see my thumbnail underneath of it is super, super loose. I don't really get into the details there too much. I like to just kind of build up. So this is our dwarf, and he doesn't really feel too short yet. So I'm actually going to grab him and shrink him down just a little bit. There we go. And then we've got this shoulder, and this coat comes down like so. And his arm is going to come out like so. And then his head, hat. This arm is, nope, this arm is going forward. This arm is this way. Maybe his hand is on the rocks a little bit. Gonna make this cave hole a little bit. Sketch this out. This is going to be in shadow. Remembering that this whole area in here is also going to be in shadow, so you want to make sure that it's nice and clear. And then we're going to have a second character here. But I need to make sure that there's enough room for this word blurb here. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch that in the same way I would on a rough draft. And maybe I have a second one here. Okay. Hey, Benny, how's it going? Moving over to your bed. All right. So we got the kind of the cave entrance there. Make the other side here. I'm gonna turn this down just a smidge more. It's just kind of indicating. There we go. Get some roughness to these rocks. Okay, so here's the dwarf. He's about to go inside. This is all in shadow. This is in shadow, so he's going to create a nice silhouette. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this completely detailed or completely shaded in. Just enough that I can make sure my my shapes are reading. I want to make sure that I don't need to change anything about the way his shape looks. So we'll make some kind of pile of rocks this way. These will come out like so. This building will go over here. So now I can put the other two characters. And just to make sure I'm not drawing too low, when I turn my guides back on, and I can see like this here is the bottom of my panel sections. So I could draw all the way down here, but I want to make sure that the main focus of the characters are going to be up in this area here. So originally I had a character sketched in like right here. So if I do that, I know he's going to get pretty cut off from with the word balloons, putting them there. So I'm going to try some other arrangements here. Maybe put his head right here. And then his shoulders, way up high on his neck because he's really hunched over. Right? When you're trying to get movement and, kind of action poses in your characters, it's really important to like keep your lines loose and kind of build up these strong what's the word I would call gestures. So now I'm just going to go in here and just kind of build this up some more. But this guy's hair is nice and long, so it kind of dangles down. And this can be dark because it's not intersecting with that cave wall too much. And then his arms are here and claws here, right? He's ready to attack. Right? Simple attack pose from behind. And now I'm just going to go through here and change a couple of details, put in some pants, military pants, because I think that's what he's wearing. Okay, so there's that guy. And again, this doesn't need to be super detailed. I can detail some more while I'm inking. And now this other guy over here, oops. I'm going to scoot him down a little bit and put his body here. Slouch him over. It looks like a hot mess right now, but that's part of the rough draft process. Keep it loose. Make sure that you're not, missing the gesture. Sometimes I'll sketch these and I'll go, you know what, that guy looks awfully stiff. I need to redraw this. And, that's why I'm trying to keep it loose, is to get as much of that movement as I can. And I'm not really referencing anything right now. Like sometimes if I'm doing a detailed shot or a big, pose, like I think I might have looked at some reference for this guy running right here. But most of these smaller ones like this, I just use as an opportunity to practice my freehand gesture sketching so that you don't get too lost in detailing every single thing. And trying to reference every single thing. You can kind of become a slave to reference if you're not careful. I have done that before myself. This guy's got suspenders on, I remember, and a shirt like so. But I don't really like the way this this arm's coming forward as well as the leg, so I'm going to take this arm and kind of put it back like so, and there we go. I like that better. That looks more like a movement that would look natural. One arm back as the other leg is going forward, and then the other one can be right here. Kind of a half jog, half run, kind of thing. Okay. So, going from my really super loose, rough draft layout to getting a bit more detail in here, and now the only other thing I need is that separation line, the border, and then I'll start probably moving on to inking. So does anybody have any questions about my penciling process or what I'm doing, or if you just wanted to drop by and say hi, I'd love to hear from you. Appreciate Melinda stopping by to say hi, and Caleb and Pops Van Zant and Raphael, thank you all. I'm going to start setting this up for inking and finish out the details of the inking stage. So hope you all enjoyed watching me draw, and I will see you next Tuesday. Thanks.